Welcome to the Top of the Hop. I am your host, Elizabeth D'Orazio, and I'm joined by the publicist and a writer here at the Hop, Rebecca Bailey. And she has a wonderful group of people that she has worked with her throughout the year about wonderful productions, music, plays, visual arts. She's got a busy job. But in a few minutes, she's going to share with us some of the reasons why we need to keep our eye on the hop and show up more often. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much for having us here. It's a wonderful location. We appreciate it. Now, tell us some of the things that you've been working on that may catch our eye in the next couple months.
Well, it is always really a busy menu of things coming up, but one of the things that I've been really excited about is something called the Nile Project. And it just ties together so many things. For one thing, it's great music. Mm-hmm. It is a collective of musicians, 11 musicians from all through the Nile region. And remember, this is a 4,300-mile long river. So that's a really diverse region, from Egypt all the way into Central Africa. And normally, these musicians, these master musicians from different traditions, they don't play together. They don't even play the same scales as each other. Their music wouldn't mesh. But because these are musicians who are really open to this kind of creative collaboration, and because the project itself was structured so beautifully, they have created together gorgeous set of music, and they're touring it all over the country. Right now they're kind of working their way up the California coast. They're playing at just about every university in the California system, and they're also playing at other venues. Then there'll be a couple of places in the Midwest, and then they'll be coming here for an extensive New England tour. And one of the things I'm so excited about is that not only is there going to be a glorious concert of music in the evening.
I can imagine the sound must be incredible.
Gorgeous instruments, wonderful stringed instruments and different sorts of drums, different kinds of singing styles, lots of different languages. But not only will there be that glorious music, and the date is actually Friday, April 17th. Put that in your calendars, 8 p.m. here at the Hop.
Will do.
But it's also part of a whole week of enrichment activities around the idea of watersheds and how important they are and how they tie us together and how complicated they can be to sort through, because that is actually the underlying kind of motivation for the whole Nile Project. It is really to inspire governments along the Nile and different cultural groups along the Nile to work together to work with this resource, which is incredibly important to the whole region. Imagine how many different people, how many, the vast populations that are all affected by decisions there. So it's really important to the whole area, and it's very complicated to work out water issues. And they are water issues, water sharing, sharing.
Very political.
Very political.
Even going back to the time of the pharaohs,
exactly.
The whole mythology of the region is rooted on the Nile gives life. And we tend to think of that as a story, but if we think of ourselves when we lose power, when there's no water, it affects everything. And you're saying whole regions of people where political power affect whether, not just you can't take a bath, you don't have anything to drink.
Don't have anything to drink. You mentioned power. You think of the hydroelectric dams. Who gets the power from a hydroelectric dam? Who gets to decide when their fields get water or don't get water? So it's really important to have cooperation. Otherwise, you have war, and that's what we don't want. So this project is really to say, there can be dialogue, there can be musical, beautiful music made together, and we can also work together, on political fronts to make this work. So, as I said,
with a purpose,
yes,
and a great message.
Really beautiful music with a great message, a really uplifting message. In fact, one of the songs that they co-created has become a big hit across that region. So
good.
We hope it'll become a hit here, and people will, break out in that song. But as I said, here, we have the Connecticut River, and while it doesn't cross through different countries, it does cross through different states.
And regions.
Yep, and our different states kind of have our different ways of relating to the river. And we're trying here in New England to kind of mirror that kind of cooperation that the Nile Project's trying to promote. So through that week, leading up to that Friday concert, we have some really wonderful activities for all ages. There's a watershed camp all day for ages.
Second week in April.
The second week in April, 13th through the 17th. It's school vacation. You can go to watershed camp over at Ava Gallery, but it's just based there because it's going to outdoor activities. It's involving arts.
Can we get the schedule on your website?
You can.
We should.
You should also actually check the Ava Gallery website for the Watershed Camp, because they're partners on that.
And we were just there.
Yep. And you can also check out the Hood Museum. They'll have an exhibit that has to do with waterways. And they always put together such wonderful exhibits there with a lot of dimensions. So we're excited about that. And then there will be other smaller activities that are part of that whole week that if you don't go to the Watershed Camps, you can still be a part
Sounds
of.
worthwhile, though.
Yes.
So the Nile Project is coming here to the Hop and to the whole area, everything with the importance of water and the beautiful music that comes from an entire region. Thank you very much for joining us, Rebecca, and make sure you check this out on the Hop website.